Hello, my biddies. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. I got up late. Got up late because my human alarm clock got up late. Oh, I forgot to put on my hat. I was arguing with someone online. She said that she would never call someone doctor who had a PhD. I'm like, yeah, you will. They earn that title. Oh, shoot. I am bad. I did not put up my stuff. So I guess we'll just have to talk while I work. I are bad. This usually takes like 5 minutes. Take 5 minutes. Happy Halloween. I'm clearly a witch. I'm always a witch. I'm always a witch unless I am a camper that got lost in the golf course because the campground I used to work at um, had a golf course attached to it. It was, well, at the time I worked there, it was owned by, the land was owned by the campground, but the golf course was owned by somebody else, which is kind of weird. Make sure I don't miss one. What else is going on? Oh, not that one. Do. Hope everybody's looking forward to trick or treating. We're going with the babies tonight, and we still don't know where we're going. Apparently, it's up to my son, and he hasn't decided, so I don't know. He's torn because of family issues, which is always fun. She said I was lazy because I used the acronym AITA. Why do I have two AITAs on here? Don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I hope you know what you're doing because I definitely do not ever know what I'm doing. Oh, there's one thing I wanted to bring up. Apparently, the FBI has arrested some people because they were they were planning some kind of attack in Dearborn. Dearborn, in case you didn't know, is the Michigan area that I think still does, at least it used to have the highest concentration of Muslim population in the U.S. Um, so I'm thinking it probably wasn't a leftist doing that. Who would want to attack the Muslims if they're on the left? So I'm guessing that that was probably white supremacists again. White supremacists strike again, I'm sure. Hmm. Let's see that one on here. What the heck is going on? Oh, that's not right. Okay. That's really weird. My link was off. That's supposed to be a petty revenge. Okay. Well, that works. I guess I'll leave it on there. Okay. And two more things. Segment. All righty. Now we're set. Sorry about that. I did put that in there. So I just wanted to mention that. We'll see what comes of Cash Patel's FBI. I don't have a lot of faith in them, unfortunately. And and arguing with apparently it was a Reddit read, but it was in on Facebook. So like some lady the second grade teacher wanted her to call her doctor because she has a doctorate. It's kind of like pronouns. When they ask you to refer them some way, you do it. It's called respect. The lady I was arguing with said she wouldn't even call anybody in the military their rank. It's like, well, you would if you were in the military because you'd get kicked out if you didn't. Some people's children, I swear. Anyway, today's read is well, it's going to start with malicious compliance as usual. Supervisor told me sarcastically to call the fire department, so I did. Worked in retail between jobs back in the early 90s. Yeah, I'm old. Get off my lawn. It was December, major department store that is no longer around. I know that doesn't necessarily that doesn't narrow it down, sorry. Maybe it was Kmart, maybe it was Sears. Anyway, they tried to cram as much product on the floor as possible to the point you couldn't walk through the aisles and had to twist and turn to get past the fixtures set up with product. I'm betting Kmart. Uh, I casually mentioned to a supervisor that if the fire department ever came in, they would close us down for the hazards and lack of egress. She was highly stressed and blurted out, "You know what? Then call the fire department." I held my hands up and said, "Easy." She assigned me my duties, and that was that. Well, she did tell me to call. By the way, Kmart is still around and going gangbusters in Australia, by the way. Fun fact. On the way home, I stopped by a government building that had all sorts of agencies in it. I told the receptionist my plight, and she pointed to a phone on the wall. Tell the operator I want the fire department, and they would patch me through to the station's non emergency line. The fire chief himself answered. I told him how crowded it was and what the supervisor said. He had a good laugh and said they'd check it out. I was off the next day, but I heard about it when I got back. The fire chief and station house full of firefighters showed up to do an inspection. Good. He tells the store manager that egress is being blocked and he'd have to remove a lot of the fixtures in the aisles. Store manager says he has orders from corporate fixtures stay. Oh no, you don't argue with the fire department, dude. No, you don't. Fire chief assures him he will win the argument. Store manager stands his ground. Fire chief, all right, boys, close them down. They evacuated the store, all three levels, and closed entrances in December, primetime Christmas shopping season. Though it wasn't a weekend day. It was full. It was during the week. Prime Christmas shopping season. Although it wasn't a weekend day, it was during the week, but still. Store manager tried to protest, and suddenly the sheriff's department started showing up. Long story short, they were closed for 5.5 hours while the chief, store manager, and employees rearranged the store to acceptable levels. The supervisor never treated me differently, so I guess she didn't remember the conversation. The store manager, surprisingly, did not get fired by corporate, but corporate was not happy. About a week later, I'm working with the store manager and supervisor. She asked why they can't do something a certain way, and the store manager replied, "The fire department won't allow that," and that was it. I worked there for a few more weeks before getting a job that killed that almost I worked there a few more weeks before getting a job that almost got me killed in workplace shooting, but that's a story for later. Oh my. Edit one. There are some videos on YouTube about postal shootings, one done by a woman, which was insane. Even the comments, the one I was in the person was acting for well over a year. Skeptic magazine had a great issue about mass shootings, I think from 2013. One study they talked about was how the mass shooters never snap but act out for usually a year or longer before committing the act. Interesting stuff. Myself, as well as other employees, expressed concern to the management about the behavior and potential for violence, but they said that the employee was harmless. It didn't surprise a lot of us who it was when it happened. I could go on, but honestly, most of you would think I'm lying. But I could corroborate the story. The funny part is, Other postal workers would snicker and say, "That's nothing. Let me tell you what happens at our facility. It is the most violent workplace in America and also the most deadly." I haven't heard about someone going postal is what we used to call it. I haven't heard about anyone going postal in a long time. Tony Snark is the top commenter. Said a store I worked at got an unexpected uh, a store I worked at the store I worked for got an unexpected inspection by the fire marshal one morning. I was in the back room sorting shipment when a coworker came running through, grabbed me to follow him. We spent 10 minutes moving mannequin parts and other fixtures out of the electrical zones. As soon as we finished, our store manager escorted the fire marshal into that area and saw that it was clean and organized. She was shocked and surprised, but managed to hide the fact. As soon as the marshal left, she came to us and asked if we'd done it. She gave us both $50 gift cards as a reward for saving the store a costly citation. Good for them. That's what you should do. Although it should always be up to snuff. That way you don't have to worry about it. Sorry, I hit my desk. That way you don't have to worry about it when you do get inspected. I remember the panics. Oh my goodness, when the inspectors would come in. Two different places. The campground I worked in, because they had a facility, so they had kitchens, and the rehab slash assisted living place that I worked at. Inspection day was a mess. It's like, just keep it up to snuff and you won't have a problem. It's not a problem if you do what they say all the time. But they just couldn't do that, I guess. I don't know. Um, this next one's from Just No Mill. My mill scheduled a family photo shoot for the day we came home from the hospital. Oh, that sounds awful. Oh, that sounds awful. I've had 3 kids. Oh my goodness, I cannot even imagine. I just need to know if I'm the just no here because my husband thinks I'm overreacting. You are not overreacting. I'm 38 weeks pregnant with our first baby. We got the final confirmation that we were being induced next Tuesday if the baby doesn't come before then. We told our immediate families, including my mother in law, with strict instructions that we wanted no visitors at the hospital and at least 2 days at home. At home, we wanted no visitors in the hospital and at least 2 days alone at home to settle in. That's reasonable. That's very reasonable. Tonight, my mother in law sent a group text with a link to Sunset Glow Family Shoot. Sorry. It's Sunset Glow Family Photo Shoot. Sunset Glow Family Photo Shoot. That's hard to say, at least for me. She has booked and paid for Thursday evening. We are expected to be discharged from the hospital Thursday afternoon. She wrote, so excited to capture our new family's new beginning. I already bought matching outfits for everyone. You need to wait at least 2 months for this. Let the baby be here for a little bit. Jeez. I lost it. I will have just gone through labor and be exhausted and sore. My newborn will be less than 48 hours old, and she expects me to go to a photo shoot in matching outfits with her. My husband said she's just excited. It's a nice gesture. We can probably go for just an hour. Yeah, she's going to be exhausted. I told him absolutely not. This is a massive boundary stomp. She was no immediate visitors, and her response is to schedule a mandatory stressful photo op for our literally first evening home. He says I'm being ungrateful for the gift. That's not a gift. Am I crazy? This feels like a power play to me to insert herself as the matriarch of this new family from minute one. I'm about to email the photographer to cancel it myself. She should. That's ridiculous. At least a couple weeks. Let the baby realize it's not in the womb anymore. Oh, hope this baby comes early. I hope this poor baby comes early because that sounds awful. I had a C-section. You're not even supposed to ride in a car except to go home after you have a C-section. Can't drive for 6 weeks. I've had 2 normal births. Normal. C-sections are normal too. I don't want to say that word though. Natural? There we go. Not natural because it wasn't nothing natural about it. Had all kinds of interventions. um, and no, I couldn't even walk afterwards. You have stitches up there? Ugh, no, no. Fruit Jerky says it's not a nice gesture. It's thoughtless, kind of mean, actually, and there are things you shouldn't have to fake for gratitude for. I assume your husband doesn't realize how intense the labor and first weeks are going to be at that. He'll realize what a complete idiot is he's being after the fact, which helps a lot right now, doesn't it? But JFC, oh, JFC. Okay, I know what that means. But JFC, your mother has to know better. That's insane. Whole Baby says your husband is used to doing whatever it is to make his mom happy, it sounds like. This is insane. Even your photographer would lose it if they knew that this baby, who hasn't even spent a night home yet, your husband needs to get his head out of his ass. Nobody in their right mind would ever do this to a new mom days after she gives birth. Most newborn photographers have a minimum age they like to work with. I guarantee you that it's wet, still wet from the womb is too young. That's a good point. She should contact the photographer and say, "Listen, this is the day we're probably going to be released from the hospital. Um, should we really be doing a photo shoot?" I'm trying to think how long it was after um my oldest. Yeah, I think we had a photo shoot shortly after my oldest grandson was born. He was born in August, and I don't think that was until at least October. Maybe it was still in August. Oh, it might have been September. It was still way early. It was way early, but she was up for it. I think the mom should decide when they're up for it, and then you schedule the photo shoot. That wasn't her either. It reminds me we haven't done that this year. I wonder what happened to the grandma photo shoots. I can guess. Oh, I think we will switch that one somewhere else. There we go. Traumatize them back. That is not your baby, is it? And this is a flared clever comeback. This happened when my son was about 3 months old. I'm Filipino, my husband is white, and our son looks almost exactly like my husband's mini me. Pale skin, light hair, blue eyes. You wouldn't know I carried him for 9 months and birthed him. One afternoon, I was pushing the stroller through the Target when a random older woman came up and said, "Oh, wow, what a beautiful baby. Is he adopted?" I smiled and said, "No, I actually stole him. His real mom is 906." The woman's face was sheet white. She didn't laugh. She didn't blink. She just backed away like I was about to pull a ski mask over my head. I just kept pushing the stroller, humming like nothing happened and never saw her again. Oh, that's a good idea. Nope, I stole it. It's not mine. I stole it. Livebird Pop said my white friend adopted a Vietnamese baby. A worker came to the house, looked at the baby, looked at my friend, and says, "The father is Asian?" To which my friend cheerfully replied, "I have no idea who the father is." Golden Red answered, "Shrug, probably." Oh my. And the second most voted is well, my ex wife, White, would constantly get approached when out with our son when he was younger and received the question, "Ah, what a country he adopted from. I'm Asian." To which most of the time she would respond likely in her head, but made for a good story. "Mofo, I carried him for 9 months and popped him out of myself, damn it." She would take huge offense at being asked. I would chuckle and just take it the chin at the same time with the realization that small town Indiana in 2010 cannot comprehend the idea a white woman can be married and having children to someone of Asian descent. um, so as you know, my niece is adopted from Korea, um, and she has two children, and Her husband's Swedish, and they look like white girls. They look very white. And I was talking to somebody at work, and he had an unusual last name, and I asked about it because I nosy about stuff like that in general. And he said he was 1/4 Korean. I said, "Oh, you don't look at all Korean." I said, "My niece is Korean." Hi, Lauren. Happy Halloween. Like my hat? Anyway, he said he's Korean. He's 1/4 Korean. And I said, "Oh, wow, I would have never guessed because you don't look at all Korean." He says, "Yeah, that's how 1/4 Koreans look. They don't carry on the genes after the second generation. It's kind of strange." He says, "My mom looks Korean. My dad looks Korean, but I don't." I had to go searching for it this morning. I had it sitting out on that bench by the door, and it disappeared. Your dad put it in the play clothes. So I had to go get my hat, and I'm going to wear it tonight trick or treating with the bebes. Yeah, who's going trick or treating tonight? Me. No, I'm not. I'm just walking. I'm just walking. He's a bat too, right? Oh, I forgot. I forgot the picture. Hold on a second. I gotta go to my other. I has to go to my other. That. Oh, I know. I know where I can get it from. Get it from here. So, I just need it once. What? Okay, there we go. um, so we're here. See if I can do this on this. See if we can share it. Nope, can't share it from there. Okay. Well, that's a bummer. If I can share it from there. I'm trying to share Tony's picture. I know, because that's not a tab. Hmm. I'm getting there, I promise. I promise I'm getting there. Oops, where did I go? Okay, there we go. This is what I usually do right before the thing, and I didn't do it this morning. I'm a bad person. Download it onto my pictures. Mm, There we go. I got it. This is what our Biddy Lauren did with Ricky Cat. And her and her husband are also going to be bats. It's a bat cat. Isn't it cute? So cute. Tony's so cute. Such a cutie pie. Okay. I've done that. That was supposed to be one of the first things we did too. I'm not having a good day. I got up late and yeah, it's just not been a good day. So our next read is from Am I the Devil? Uh, won't help wife because he's vegan. And this is from our red r/vegan originally. I've quietly stopped carrying in non-vegan groceries. Wife not happy. Yeah, silly. That's silly. My wife and I split the household chores. One of the things she's responsible for is grocery shopping. If I'm around when she comes home, I help unload the car and bring the groceries into the house. I've been vegan for a few years now. Somewhere along the way, I grew uncomfortable handling meat, dairy, eggs. So when I'm unloading the car, I grab all the vegan stuff produce, oatmeal, beans, lentils, etc. We each make the same amount of trips carrying the food. Well, she's finally noticed what I'm doing and is slightly annoyed by it. I don't blame her. Over the past week, she has said, I talked to my friends and they all say you're being ridiculous because you are. I told my coworkers about it and they agree with me. I talked to your mom and she thinks you're being silly. Honestly, I don't really give an F what anyone thinks, but most recently she said she doesn't even think my Reddit vegan friends would agree with me, which got me curious but still unmoving in my resolve. So, Reddit friends, is that true? Do I have a duty to transport her animal foods? Just pick up the bag, dude. It's not that big a deal. Holy cow. This is why this is why we don't like you vegans. Velvet Salt said, I don't really give an F what anyone thinks, but I will go online for validation because not because only but only because I don't give an F. And Geber Star Forever says, Bro, why are you married? The next one is, How is he married? Aloria says, He may not be for long. And Red Queen says, The divorce came out of nowhere, which is usually how it happens. And the next top comment, top voted commented, the people who have to go around saying that all the time generally do give quite a few Fs. People who actually don't give an F what other people think don't talk about it because they don't care. It's still really weird. Why would you do that? I mean, do you have a cat? Do you feed the cat? Because cats don't eat vegetables. It's bad for cats to eat vegetables. They need meat. Hope he doesn't have any pets. Our next read is from Neighbors from Hell, entitled "Local police say this isn't illegal." Sorry, local police say this isn't illegal. Ever since I brought my newborn home last week, my neighbor films me with her phone, front yard and back. I have no privacy. I confronted her and asked her to stop, and she said, Make me. So I called the police, who said it was no different than her filming at the beach or in public. That's not true. That's not true. You have privacy. You don't have the right to privacy in public, but on your own property, you do have the right to privacy. She literally stands on something and looks over our 6-foot PVC vinyl fence in the backyard and films with her phone. How is this legal? It's not. Brevard County, Melbourne, Florida. I fear for the safety of my child. They told me to document it and call code enforcement. Meanwhile, I can't even go outside of my house that I own. Any advice would be great. I'm so anxious all the time. Spray water on her. Edit. Went to the police station this morning and spoke to a supervisor with the videos and pictures and expressed our concern for the safety of our child. We showed them the survey of our property to show she was pointing her phone towards our backyard sunroom play area, and the police went to her door and told her to stop, and if it happens again, she'll be arrested. So far, we are incident free. Thank you for everyone for all the wonderful advice and suggestions. Told you. No. Like, people have complained about people of Walmart, people taking pictures of People dressing inappropriately at Walmart, inappropriately or strangely. Um, if you have never looked at people at Walmart, it's kind of hysterical. But um, you don't have a right to privacy outside of your own home, in a public place, even in a private public place like a banquet center, necessarily. In the US. In Germany, it's different. In Germany, they have all kinds of privacy everywhere. It's wild. You cannot post somebody's picture without their express permission for like 10 years after they die in Germany. It's crazy. But here, you do not have an expectation of privacy outside of your own home. Inside your own home and on your own property, yes, you do have an expectation of privacy. People cannot point their cameras at your in your yard. People cannot point their cameras in your windows. Effective class is the top commenter answered. Former Florida detective here. I find the stalking statute to be poorly written and weak. I understand why. Legislators don't want people to have to worry about getting hit with stalking charge just for going about their business. However, I find it too many people hurt by actions like the OP's neighbors. I recommend documenting the following: the day of the first occurrence, the fact that it coincides with bringing home your newborn baby, and you fear they have a nefarious intent, date, time of each incident, photos of them looking, recording over your property fence, any statement made by the neighbors. Then you can show a pattern of behavior to satisfy the elements of the statute. Take it all to the front desk of your local law enforcement. If that person doesn't take your report, you can do one of two things: ask for a supervisor or go home. Research who the detective sergeant of detectives is and schedule an appointment with him or her. This is a weak statute, but not impossible. Persistence is the key. Good luck. I'm sorry this is happening to you. Best wishes to you and your precious family. Edited to change Lego skaters to legislators. And had the missing words Lego skaters. Legosskators. How did that even get by your autocorrect, dude? Well, I like that, Lego skaters. We call them oh shoot, I can't remember what we call them. Representatives, like representative and senators, representatives. I keep copies of everything you hand over, not saying the police intend to do anything dishonest. I just know how stuff gets lost, and it's a pain in the ass to reverse engineer it. In my humble opinion, Lego Skaters is a cooler title. Independent Egg says, I kind of want to be a Lego skater myself now. Tiny Safe says, hi, Lego skater here. It's as fun as you think it is. I hope to see you around. I think my husband might be a Lego skater. He has been like the vice president, the secretary, and the treasurer. So maybe. This is from AITH. I told my friend why I don't want to date him, and our friends are saying I broke him. AITAH. Sorry, I had to move another one. Lurker here. So far, for the last few years, me, 36, and my wife, 34, have had a very strange relationship due to the way my daughter and my wife interact. It started when my daughter was 13. She came to her mother and confided her feelings about family friend's son. My wife decided this was too cute to share and told everyone during a family barbecue, including the boy. Don't do that to your kid. Come on. What are you doing? This embarrassed my daughter, and I told my wife to stop as this made her daughter upset. But my wife justified it at the time as they were just kids. I've always known my wife has a hard time keeping secrets, but I thought she would at least have tried since this was a touchy subject, especially for a growing teenager with her first real crush. After this incident, I started noticing things like this more. My wife openly telling everyone our daughter's business. Poor kid. I told someone something in confidence once, and she told someone else, and someone else overheard, and it was not pretty. It was not a pretty situation. And now I don't tell that person anything anymore. She can't be trusted. Admittedly, most of these incidents were unnoticed by me for years because they were usually conversations between my wife and her friends when I wasn't around, and she didn't like it when I interrupted girl time. However, I'm noticing more, like telling my wife, ev- sorry. However, I am noticing more now, like my wife telling everyone about my daughter's business, like texts, phone calls, and other secrets that she told her mom in the past when believing they wouldn't be told. As everything progressed, my daughter started getting closer to me more, and I became the default parent who deals with medical issues, school drama, and crushes. That makes sense. Happy Halloween, Sarah. Which has upset my wife because my daughter refuses to have girl talk with her anymore and is usually cold and doesn't like spending time with her. This could be an oh no consequences because this is the consequences for your actions. My wife decided to try and punish our daughter after finding out she got her first boyfriend and wasn't told. Why would you like, dude, she's not going to tell you anything anymore. You spread it all over the place. What do you expect to happen? Our daughter is 16 now, and I don't feel it's necessary to punish her for these things when she has made a conscious decision to protect her privacy. I know she still loves her mom, but I understand not sharing things she doesn't want to get spread or blown out of proportion. Exactly. I came home to my wife yelling at her daughter and demanding her phone, her laptop, etc., all over this situation. I don't know. This might be a breakup situation if it's that bad. Which made me very angry because my daughter was in tears and she is still my little girl and doesn't deserve to be punished over something her own mother caused. I told my wife to leave her alone and that we would talk, but I also told her to give back the items, which my wife refused and started screaming at me in front of our daughter, something I don't like. I like to have calm conversations away from our daughter to prevent her to feel scared or uncomfortable. Well, I mean, people do need to vent sometimes, and she's 16, she should know that by now. Um, But your 16-year-old daughter is going to be an adult in 2 years, less than 2 years. She needs privacy, even from you, parents. You don't go on their phones, you don't go on their laptops unless there is a legitimate reason to, like you suspect something's going on. Then you can. But as long as the kid is being good, a good kid, don't do it. Eventually, after multiple attempts to calm her down, we could discuss this properly. She grabbed my arm and started digging her nails into my skin. Okay, and now we're at physical abuse. And I had enough by then. I started ranting about how she always told our daughter's business to people. How basically the whole family, friends around us knew everything about our daughter's personal life and medical history. And then I told her it was her fault our daughter doesn't trust her anymore, which made my wife start crying, and she locked herself in the bedroom while I started comforting our daughter and went out to get dinner. Good for you. Leave her in the bedroom. But now I'm home and I'm getting some serious silent treatment from my wife, and I'm wondering if I could have possibly said something different. No. But I'm tired of her blaming our daughter every time she doesn't get told something. And there is an edit. I have read many comments talking about my wife, and I'm seriously taking this all in. I really don't want my daughter to think this is okay for her future husband to treat her this way. So I'm requesting my wife attends therapy by herself before she can join me and my daughter in family therapy because I'm not putting my daughter in a situation where her mother's probably used the therapy sessions to punish her, which people have mentioned. Good, that sounds really smart. If she refuses, I will look into separation because I have realized my daughter needs her dad to keep her safe, and she won't be safe if her mother is acting this way and normalizing this behavior. Like I said, I thought this might be a breakup situation if it's really this bad. I'm scared for my future, honestly, and I'm also hopeful that I can show my daughter she is loved and safe. I will be sending my daughter to stay with her aunt for the rest of the week while I have this conversation because I'm not taking any chances that she'll have to listen to an argument between me and my wife. Good dad. Let's do green flags for this dad, red flags for this mother, green flags for the dad. Daddy's a good daddy. That that girl will have a good daddy. Good relationship with her daddy the rest of her life. The secret double says NTA, but when your daughter gets her devices back, tell her to change all of her passwords to her social media. Her mom is too involved in her business and the true definition of your parent being your biggest hater. She's going out of her way to embarrass your daughter. Correct. And yeah, you don't need your kids' passwords either after a certain age. After they're 14, 15 years old, you do not need their passwords unless you suspect something really bad going on, like illegal things, not normal high school things. Even drinking isn't a reason for that because that's what kids do. Plus, the drinking laws in our country are ridiculous. Fun tomorrow answer. Oh, fun tomorrow is the OP. Don't worry, I got her devices back immediately after the fight. I refuse to punish my daughter for having a life outside the family. I will tell her to change her passwords, though. That's something I didn't think of before, and I don't doubt my wife would try this in a desperate attempt to find things. Pipsy Pops answered, I don't be surprised the links mothers will like this will go in order to get the information they want. My mother was very demanding of every little detail of my life, but she wasn't a blabbermouth. She was incredibly controlling and very critical of everything I did. My mother would go through my room, my rubbish. If I hid something, she'd go through my room and go ballistic that I dared hide stuff from her. She called my therapist and demanded to know everything. She even complained about my therapist maintaining confidentiality to their higher ups. She'd call my friends or their parents demanding information, the school, and any and every way she could think of to get information. I slowly shut down. The older I got, the less I was home because I was miserable there. And that led to some really dangerous situations and self harm and a couple of suicide attempts. I still struggle today because of it. Wow, that's really sad. I'm sorry, Pipsy Pops. But yeah, you don't treat your kids like this. You do not need to be, you're raising their kids to be their own people, not your little minions or whatever. Um, and they need privacy, especially, like I said, when they're past 15 at the very minimum, and even younger if you can trust your kid. I never went on my kids. I never went through my kids' stuff. I did go through the oldest one's room because he was doing stuff. He was doing stuff, but the other two, I never had a reason to even suspect they were doing anything. They were good kids. And my brother-in-law says how his daughters are perfect, and I told him they're just not telling you stuff, dude. And that's okay. One of them's 18. She doesn't need to tell her parents everything anymore. She'll graduate this year and be out of the house. So I don't know why I have so many AITAs on this one back here. I had like 3 in a row, and I don't know why. Must have been desperate for content. Or I just screwed up. Oh, I don't want that one. That one goes here. Sorry, I told you I was unprepared for today. We'll get to that in a few minutes. So this is from r slash confession. I'm so done. 29 years in the classroom, and this year's ninth graders are the worst I've ever had. I've been a teacher for 29 years. During that time, I have had good classes of students and not so good classes of students. Never in my life have I experienced the level of frustration I'm experiencing with this year's ninth graders. Don't get me wrong, there are some great kids in my class, but on the whole, the level of disrespect and inability to stay focused on their tasks is off the chart. My patience is at an end. It might be the year that I'm done. My oldest son's class was one of those. I don't know what it was about that group of students. They were all good kids, but they could not. Most of them were good kids, and there were a few that were just horrendous. They made one teacher cry every day, and she had on a new teacher. She had been teaching for a long time. They got stuff taken away from them from the whole class because these few kids couldn't behave, which is completely unfair. Don't punish everybody for the actions of a few, ever. That's not right. Um, they were supposed to do a project and they did not get to do it because certain kids would not behave. She had She she actually ended up putting a desk by her desk, and the good kids got to sit next to the teacher. Uh, and my kid was at that a lot at that desk. He was he was a good kid for being my most challenging child. He's still my most challenging child, and he's still a good person. The high top commenter said, try to transition to adult learning. Depending on your location, you might be qualified for an adjunct position. Adult learners, for the most part, want to be there, especially any vocational problems, even prison programs, might be less stressful. Azalea says, where can you teach adult except for college? My mom's a very tired teacher who is convinced she isn't qualified for any other job. And the OP said, college, but she probably qualified. Adjunct can teach remedial stuff, aka high school equivalent, which usually need a master, but usually okay, adjunct can teach remedial stuff, aka high school equivalent, which usually needs a master's, but for that they let you start with a bachelor's if they justify the need. Check listings that say master or equivalent. Then she gets a job and goes for a master's, and they pay for most of it. Most teachers have a master's anyway. In prison, don't discount it. I had colleagues that said it was the easiest, most rewarding job they had. They've had women's units too if men are too much. And somebody answered that. And prison, don't discount it. I had colleagues that said it was the easiest and most rewarding job they had, quoting the one before. And it says students are not on their phones because they're not allowed to have phones at all. They're all afraid to get kicked out of the program if they misbehave at all, so they're respectful and on their best behavior. At least a portion of them are actually interested in learning and getting their life back on track. Good attendance because they have nowhere else to be. Those are the advantages of teaching in prison. Huh, that's interesting. I never thought about it. My friends always said that I should teach high school. I don't know why. They also call me eccentric, so what do they know? Oh, wait, maybe I am. Um, our next read is for entitled Karen's. Entitled Karen calls the police on me for walking home. Why would you do that? So I live in an apartment block in the middle with a big yard in the middle. There's a daycare in the yard, but it's part of the building, not private land. I've lived there for over a decade. I know exactly what's allowed. Yesterday, I came home from work, and as I was walking across the yard, let's call her Karen, stopped me. She was picking up her kid from the daycare. Excuse me, this is a daycare. You can't just walk here. This is my home. I live here. I can walk wherever I want. She wasn't having it. Karen, the daycare staff told me this is their property, and anyone unauthorized is trespassing. Me, already annoyed. That's just not true. I've lived here over 10 years. I know the rules. She just kept repeating herself like a broken record. I figured it wasn't worth fighting, so I said, fine, I'll use the other door. But then she literally stepped in front of me, blocking the exit. Karen, where are you going? I'm calling the police. Me? What? Why? I'm just going home. Karen, you're threatening and trying to access a daycare. And then she actually called the police right in front of me. I just stood there with my groceries, like, is this real life? The cops arrived and asked for my ID. I showed them my license with the address printed right there. They looked at Karen and then back at me. Officer, ma'am, he lives here. He's not trespassing. Karen's still arguing, but the staff said, Officer, no, you can't call the police for this. It's a misuse of emergency services. They actually made her apologize to me, which was awkward but kind of satisfying. Then they warned her not to waste the police time. And then they asked about changing their username. Well, it said, live in a block. There's a daycare in the yard, but it's part of the building and not private land. So they live in the same building where the daycare is located. It sounds like this woman was told to not be around the daycare for some reason. I'm betting she was trying to do what she's projecting. She's trying to do what she thought he was doing. And she doesn't live there, so get out, Karen. My mouse does not want to work today for some reason. Okay, now we have I am the jerk, or am I the jerk? Sorry. AITJ for wanting to sell my home and retire because my adult kids refuse to help out. Sell my home and retire. Hmm. My older kid, 20, college junior, is moved back from uni and is attending off campus now. The other one, 19, withdrew from uni and is back in the home this summer with zero goals or objectives, but is working full time in the service industry and stays out a lot with friends and couch surfs often. Okay. They each make their own car payments. I'm not going to tell you how much they are because I don't know why that matters. And we are co signers on the loan. They pay $40 each for their phone plans. And one pays $20 toward the water bill and the other 20 towards electricity. That seems fair, I guess. I mean, when my kids were in college, we had a rule. If you were in college or you were working full time, you didn't have to pay rent or utilities or your car insurance. Yes, my kids were spoiled, but I think they appreciated it. They were able to save up and move out, and they all moved out right after college. Well, the one didn't go to college, but he moved out maybe even earlier. I don't know. Maybe even earlier. At one point, I had the younger two during COVID. I had the younger two and their significant others living in my house too. It was a full house, and we had fun. It was fine. However, neither of them is motivated to clean up after themselves or do chores. They were raised with structure, rules, and responsibilities, yet they only clean up when it is absolutely necessary or when they are directly asked to. Their primary bathroom, dishes, sink, pet care, etc. And I forget any assistance with outside of the home. We pay someone to cut the grass, and we end up taking out the trash ourselves every week because they literally don't seem to know how to drag the can to the curbside. So tell them to do it. This makes us very utterly exhausted. Oh my goodness. Heaven forbid you actually have to like remind your kids to do something. They'll do it eventually. I mean, having to tell adults who were raised doing chores to actually do basic chores, level of stress I could have never anticipated. Well, it sounds like the one's not even there, so how is she messing up the house? And the other one's going to school. So really, honestly, if you kick them out, if you move out, you're going to have to be doing those chores yourself anyway. So I'm not sure what the problem is. Hubs and I have started a serious discussion about selling our house because we already have a second home that is smaller and out of the state we live in. We want to move on with retirement and end the constant frustration, plus the added expenses that come from maintaining a larger home. Family thinks this would be abandoning our kids in tough economic times, but none of them has the answer for dealing with the laziness or ungratefulness we endure every day. It sounds like you're causing problems for yourselves, honestly. Are we the jerks for wanting to finally unload our primary home and move on, which would force our adult kids to manage on their own? Your adult kids are 19 and 20. They're not that old. Honestly, I wouldn't kick a kid out until they were at least 22. Edited to include comments referring to us having sons. These are our daughters. I'm mid 50. My husband's mid 60. Older one has moved out for 2 years, but asked to come back so they wouldn't have to pay money or live with 3 or 4 roommates. Mother in law is 89 and lives in an assisted living facility nearby, but is happy and doing well. We wouldn't want to displace her. So you want to move away from your mother-in-law who's 89 years old and probably needs your help and abandon your kids. Update. We decided not to list the house for the foreseeable future, but have it on the back burner for now. Our older child is in the home stretch with the uni and doing well, and the younger one is just too emotionally mature to manage. Whose fault's that? For the younger one, we are setting deadlines for community college or even certificate program and reinforcing house rules and standing firm. She's never there. She's never there. I've relocated an indoor camera, and so in her absence, when we are at the other home, kitchen, living room, pets aren't left to their own devices. No spying, just changing the angle to make sure the house is up to par and simple adjustment with more verbal communication should make our return smoother. So you are spying. I'm going back to basics, getting a new chore board. They each have to check off with an erasable marker, and they have to get back to writing their weekly work schedules. This helps when rotating pet care and chores. Whose pets are they? Finally, I've scheduled family therapy. I think we will all benefit from hearing each other out in a neutral setting. We definitely need to work on better communication skills and having family meetings. Had those when they were younger, never should have stopped. With that, we may be able to develop further assistance with the younger one who I believe has ADD or some issue that are impeding their ability to develop reasonable behaviors and grow her emotional intelligence. Thank you again. Feedback and good critical, much appreciated. Well, obviously, you already neglected your child if she's 19 and you're just now noticing that she has ADD. Like, where were you when she was in middle school, elementary school, high school? Where were you? No wonder she dropped out of college. She has no skills. Although I had undiagnosed ADD and did go to college and completed it. I don't know what the top comment said. Um, Queen Surly, and my might be an unpopular opinion because I love my kids. Queen Surly, good Lord, no. They have jobs and they have shown they can be responsible about things they care about. Tell them to start saving money towards first last deposit and start prepping your house for the market. You didn't mention your ages, but if you're exhausted by taking care of an average home, please go and get checked out medically. Oh, that's a good idea too. I started feeling like that in my 60s, early 60s, and was beating myself up over gaining weight and out of shape. It turns out one of my heart valves was failing. The OP says I'm more mentally exhausted than anything else, but the constant cleaning and pet care is a bit much, and moving permanently to our smaller home would help a lot. I'm scheduled for a physical next week. I'm not ruling out anything. I'm wondering if she cleans too much. I'm wondering if her expectations are kind of out of whack too. Yeah, that could be. I wonder if she has an update. It's been a month, so okay. She might have her things on private. It says she hasn't posted yet, but we know she has. I don't know. Anyway, that's my take. Her expectations might be out of whack, and the one kid's never home, so I don't know why she expects them to do everything for her. And the other one is in college and doing well, and that should be encouraged, not discouraged. And if you kick him out, or her out, sorry, and if you kick her out, she might start not doing so well at college, and that could impact her later on. So our next read is from Best of Redder updates, which we always love, right? HOA insists my sister and I are not a single family household and one of us should move out. We've lived here all our lives. I did come across this in the wild. So the original post, this is originally posted in legal advice. I don't remember an update though. So maybe this could be good. uh Original post was July 6th, 2017. I'm 21 and my sister is 19. We've lived in this house our entire lives. Our parents bought this house 27 years ago. They joined the HOA about 15 years ago. Well, that was their first mistake. If you can get out of an HOA, do so. My dad died 5 years ago, and my mom died 6 months ago, and we're the owners of this house. Oh, that's sad. It's so young to lose your parents. Dang. Yeah, I'm gonna cry again. Okay. We've been visited by the HOA multiple times. They're citing that we're not a single family home anymore since our mom has died. They told us that according to the terms, only a single family can be resident homes, and being a single family is defined by one person or couple and their legal unmarried children. This meant that my mom could live with me and my sister as long as it was single family according to the definition. But me and my sister living here after our mom's death means we are two families of single adults. That's BS. They want one of us to move out so this place becomes a single family home again. They visited us 4 times asking us to leave. They don't like to sue out of respect for our parents, but they will do that if we continue to refuse to comply by the community rules. Can they kick us out of our own house? Probably. What should we expect and how can we fight this? And this is in Washington state of Washington, not DC. My angry account says, do you have a copy of the HOA? I always like to say HOA. I'm sorry. The HOA regs, and have you read through them to verify that what they are saying is true? I couldn't find she answers, I couldn't find the copy in our documents. I have asked them every time to send us a copy of the terms, and they always say they will, but nothing has come because probably didn't say that in there. Same poster replies, what do they say when they come to the door and you ask them? I'd be inclined to tell them to stop harassing you until they can provide you with a copy so you can have your lawyer review it. OOP, they say they are here on behalf of the HOA and give us a friendly reminder that these are single family homes and we are legally required to comply to the rules and things like that. But they've never given us anything in writing or given us the terms despite us requesting a copy every single time. Should we demand they stop harassing us next time they show up? Yes, you should. Because unless they can show it in writing, it's not a thing that exists. Top comments are, can't pronounce that, somethinopolis. If you want to be proactive, go to your county's recorder office and ask for help in this matter. Specifically ask for help finding the HOA bylaws that your house is subjected to. The HOA bylaws should be of record there. Many counties also allow you to access these records online as well. Rika Soru, start by attending the next HOA meeting. Explain what's happening and see if they can't reconsider. There's a chance the other board members don't know this even happening and could put a stop to whoever is pursuing this on their behalf. If not, as others have said, remind them that no judge is likely to side with them as their argument is ridiculous and callous. Smith Me says, sounds like someone in your neighborhood wants to force you out so they can buy your house. I call BS on that. That's a good point. HOAs will do that too. They will try and force you out so they can get your house. Update. September 30th, 2017, 3 months later. After our mom died, people from HOA came to me and my sister and told us that we were no longer a single family household and one of us needs to leave. So I first confirmed that they are from the HOA, not just people harassing us for the fun of it. We also got the CC&R of the HOA, which included a clause about single family and its weird definition. If included, I think that means it's supposed to be an it. It included partners, children, grandchildren, parents, grandparents, step-parents, stepchildren, uncles, aunts, nieces, children of uncles, aunts, nieces, children of nieces and nephews, but no siblings. Yeah, that was clearly just an error. It even had a clause say that co-owners are not allowed to live there unless they are a single family based on the definition. We also received a letter from them telling us our violation and demanding us to comply. So my sister and I went around the neighborhood and gave copies of the terms and the letter we received to everyone and told them, imagine you died tomorrow. Do you want them to kick out your kids? Because they're doing it to us and they will do it to your kids. Please help us stop them. We gathered signatures and almost everyone contacted the president and demanded that this should stop. Within 2 weeks, we received a letter saying that this has been a mistake with an apology. We learned that this HOA is horrible to everyone, not just us. So there are now people preparing to run for the HOA board to replace the current members, and they're promising to have a referendum about whether the HOA should be dissolved or not, because it really is doing nothing of substance except being a pain in the butt of everyone. So that's good. Yeah, if you don't like your HOA, run for the HOA. Most likely, no one else likes the HOA either, because the people that get elected to those HOA boards tend to be biddies. They tend to be busybodies and want to be in everybody's business and think highly of themselves and no one else and want to run everything. And then they make enemies. And so we're going to read a few comments. Coming in the Nile said, "Wonder what the HOA had in mind for an end game here, because this looks suspiciously like play stupid games and win stupid prizes territory." And Crazy Ditzy Diva answers, "It feels like the HOA president or members wanted the house for themselves." It's very possible. Visual Fly says, "Yes, it's relatively common. They knew the kids wouldn't be able to just jump up and move out, and so they started accumulating fines that they couldn't possibly hope to pay, and the HOA would eventually seize and auction the house off, and whoever was really behind all this BS would buy it for a song and dance and rent it out." Well, that shouldn't be legal. If you can't live with your sibling, you shouldn't be able to rent your house out. Fake Moose Fact says, "How is that legal? HOAs seem even even more bizarre to me than ground rents." Oh, ground rents. Ground rents, in Europe, you don't the crown government, the king, the queen owns all the property. Ground rents are when you rent the property and build a house on it. They're usually for like 100 years or so, um, and they can be renewed. So that's how people get away with it. But you don't own your own property in Europe a lot of times, especially in the UK. Visual Fly again says, "HOAs gain self government's legal exemptions in exchange for taking responsibility for certain public utilities as a way to encourage cities to allow housing construction. The pitch is that it generates revenue via property taxes that isn't offset like street maintenance, and the HOA does that. In return, the HOA gets a lot of legal leeway, including the ability to issue fines or determine aesthetically what your house and property can look like. My folks, for example, had to send a blueprint draft of any garden they planned to send up to in their backyard, which no one's going to see, for the HOA to approve, or else they'd start accumulating fines. They also started accumulating fines if they didn't do anything with their backyard by a certain date. Weird. HOAs are BS. Petty little tyrants flock to them in a way that pedophiles flock to the Catholic priesthood. OOP was effing smart in how they went about it by pressuring their neighbors with the "they'll throw your kids out if you don't help us with this" pitch. HOA power relies on the apathy of the neighborhood they rule over. Correct. Yeah, if you can avoid buying in an HOA, technically we have an HOA, but it's been dissolved. It was dissolved way before we were here, because we were supposed to have a beach and the beach never happened, so they dissolved the HOA and now we don't have it. And now we'll probably have to repave the road because it's starting to be pretty bad. Um, Although my son, when he was doing different kind of construction, would come and fix it once in a while. He would bring over his leftover asphalt and patch the road a little bit. Next read is from Retail Hell, entitled 40 Pounds of Food in the Garbage Because of One Guy. And it's flared customers suck again. So I didn't catch the guy myself, but I heard from a couple of coworkers what happened to spot him. It was late morning. The hot bar had been put out recently. Full full dang pans of food. A guy in a motorized cart came up, took a fork, and drove up. A guy in a motorized cart came up, took a fork, drove up to 5 separate pans of food, and just started picking out and eating pieces of meat from the pans, just sticking the same fork in. Ew. My coworkers pulled the pans, and I weighed out the shrink. 40 pounds of fresh food, garbage, because some dipshit couldn't even shovel it out into a bar container before stuffing his damn mouth. I wish I'd caught a glance at him. The store director gave us permission to tell him to get the F out if we see him again. We throw out enough food in a day without people like this making it so much worse. Honestly, he should have had to pay for all the food. I would have made him pay. That's a lot of food. 40 pounds of food and some of it meat, that costs some money. Oh, that's terrible. No, he was right there. Your coworkers saw him. They should have called security or a manager and made him pay for it. They put for every pan of food. Plus, you got to make more food then, and then somebody else comes up and wants food, and then it's not there because of this guy. So he's not just wasting money; he's inconveniencing everyone else. What a jerk! The next read's from Mother-in-Law's from Hell. I assume my mill stole most of the gold and money from our wedding gifts. 2 years later, I found out I was right all along. And if this is from India, that's a lot of gold. I'll make this short, but if you guys are interested, I can make a second post giving details and a backstory. 2 years ago, my mother in law took our card box and gift box home. In our culture, everyone gifts either gold or money. It sounds like it might be India. We had 600 people at the wedding and have technically had an average of $100 a person, including the thousands our grandparents and extended family gifted each. More and more saying this is an Indian family. Their weddings are wild. Where I used to work at the campground, we had a wedding venue, and uh, one group from India, they were all from India, like the whole week. They rented the whole thing out for the whole week for their wedding. Like those weddings are weddings, man. They know how to wedding. She took it home and didn't let us open it, saying it's not safe at a hotel. I told my husband before the wedding, even before this happened, she would do this. He cried the night of our wedding when he realized I was right. But we never knew if she took anything because she gave us the boxes back after our honeymoon. So who knew what was missing or not, other than us assuming because we didn't have 1/8 of what we expected. I visited them recently with my husband. We don't live in the same country. And my father in law, who is now getting a divorce from my mother in law, told youngest sister in law. He told her, your mom took all of your brother's gold and monetary gifts from his wedding. What I didn't know is that she took money for my son's birth party. He told her that too. Holy cow. I'm a little relieved I was right and wasn't accusing her for no reason without evidence. Icy Doctor said, be sure to tell everyone knows so you can get a true accounting of how much to sue her for. Yes, definitely. Holy cow. Don't take stuff from your kids. What are you doing? What are you doing? Taking stuff from your kids. Oh, goody. We are now at expectation versus reality. We like this one. So I'll have to share it and hopefully the mic will not mess up today. Um, because that was annoying yesterday. Oh wait, let me do this. There we go. So, oh, you know what? Um, hold on just a second. I got it some information here. Let me do this instead. A new tab. There we go. Okay, so this says I'm not a baker, so turning out not horrendous was oh no. Okay, we're not gonna read that. So this is from the brief my 8-year-old niece gave me for her birthday cake and the finished cake. So now I will share it to you again. I switched to. So this is what the 8-year-old wanted her cake to look like. It's very cute. I love it. I love it. It's so cute. Where's my arrow? Oh, darn it. Hold on. I guess that's not a work. We are learning here. Okay. We is learning here how things work. I have over 20 episodes now. So this is the cake that the 8-year-old wanted. It's super cute. I love it. And this is the cake she got. Isn't it beautiful? I love it. It's so great. It is excellent. Good job, OP. Nice job decorating that cake. You can't even tell it's not professional. It's so cute. I love it. Love it, love it. Okay. Our middle segment. I have to change one thing in here. So, because we started the reality TV stuff, and I have to watch the reality TV stuff the next day because I watch it on HBO Max because it's all on TLC. um, I have my mornings have been a mess. So we are going to switch our time that we start the stream to noon instead of 10. Um, excuse me. Hopefully that will give me enough time to do what I need to do before the stream. Make my notes for the reality TV, which was a lot. I found out I was like 4 episodes behind on Bailing Out Loud. Caught up now. Caught up now. Half watched. Half watched. Um, so we're gonna start at 12 noon Eastern time instead of 10. So if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. I try to go live at least 4 times a week. This week we went 5 times. That was fun. Um, okay. I try to go live at least 4 times a week, usually about noon Eastern in the morning, Eastern time. It's not in the morning, it's afternoon now, which is still brunch time because brunch runs till 2 Eastern time. Just saying. If you have a story of your own or come across a good one in the wild, please send it to us. Just send us an email entitled submission. If you would like to email links to the current day's live, send an email entitled subscribe. And the email address is in the description below. It's biddybrunchbunch@gmail.com. And that is all for our middle segment. And our next read is from In Laws. It's called Sister in Law Told My Mother in Law I Kicked My Husband Out of Her Bedroom. Bad sister in law. You shouldn't be telling your mother anything. Don't tell me, kids. Don't tell me. I'm on a need to know basis, and I probably don't need to know. My husband, 34, has a much younger sister, 19. We don't really have much of a relationship with his family, but lately she's been reaching out to him more, so he invited her over for lunch last weekend. She's only been to our place maybe twice in the 2 years we've been married, and always with his parents. It was her first time coming alone. We live in a small 2-bedroom condo. Our guest bedroom doubles as storage. My husband keeps all of his clothes in that closet while I use the closet in our main bedroom because I own a lot of clothes. Pretty simple arrangement. Actually, pretty normal too, if you don't have large closets. It's not unusual. Fast forward to this weekend. We went out to dinner for my father in law's birthday. My mother in law, who I barely have a relationship with, pulled me aside and asked if everything was okay between my husband and me. I was confused, and she said she was asking because her daughter, my sister in law, told her my husband's clothes were in the second bedroom, so she assumed I kicked him out and he sleeps in there. Why would you assume that? Why would you just assume things? Don't assume, because it makes an ass out of you and me. My first reaction was to laugh in her face. Instead, I explained we just have separate closets, and honestly, anyone who knows us knows it's a running joke that I hog the closet space. But I left the dinner upset. This was the very first time sister-in-law was invited to our home on her own, and instead of just spending time with us, she went back to his mom and spread misinformation about our marriage. Am I overreacting? I feel offended by this. No, you're not overreacting. Why is your sister-in-law even talking about this? Sassy Bassy. Sassy be sassy. Oh, sassy be sassy. Missed an S. You aren't overreacting. Why is sister-in-law going through your bedrooms and closets? Why didn't husband notice she was snooping through your house? This means that sister-in-law is no longer allowed to be unsupervised in your home, even if you even allow her back into your home. Those who snoop through your bedrooms, closets, and drawers are not welcome guests. They are toxic assholes who have no reason to be in your home. Your home is your safe space. Would sister-in-law appreciate it if you went and looked through her personal belongings? Maybe the Maybe when you go to the next in-laws, you should just walk into sister-in-law's room and start snooping through her crap. And then when you get caught, say, "Oh, my bad. I thought this was what we were doing now," and just walk out. Um, she might not have been snooping at all. I mean, if her brother was coming in there to get his clothes, if the closet door was open, she would notice. I think assuming that she's snooping is a leap. But also, she shouldn't have told her mother-in-law that. She should not have told her mother that. That's wrong. Ask first. Say, "Hey, bro, why are your clothes all in there?" Bro will tell you. Just curious. No judgment, just curious. Our next read is from Entitled Parents, entitled Aunt demanded I give her toddler my old iPhone because you do not need it. At a family gathering, I was casually mentioning that I might upgrade my phone soon. My aunt's face lit up and she said, "Great, you can give the old one to my baby." Her baby is 3 years old and puts crayons in his mouth. I thought she was joking, so I laughed, but she was serious and she repeated, "Why not? You will not need it anymore." I explained that I usually trade in my phone or sell it because it is worth money. She looked shocked as if I had done something terrible and loudly told everyone in the room that I was stingy with family. Meanwhile, her toddler was happy smearing cake all over the couch. Apparently, in her mind, a 3-year-old needs an iPhone more than I need money for my upgrade. No, she's wrong. Holy cow, really? I mean, like, if it was a teenager and you genuinely could not afford a phone for them and you wanted them to have a phone, it's okay to ask, be expected to pay for it. Um, but you can ask. The answer might be no, and that's okay. No is a complete sentence and perfectly reasonable answer. Nintendo Gamer says, "Tell her when she gets a new car, she can give the old one to you." And somebody answered that one. Any new thing she ever mentioned until she gets the point. And John says she won't get it. She's the star of her own show. Yeah, that's wild for a 3-year-old. No, a 3-year-old does not need a phone, people. Actually, psychologists recommend that you not give your kid a phone until they're 13. So definitely no smartphones until they're at least 13. Um, it is handy to have like one of the old flip phones, and they do make kid phones that can only call like mom and dad, grandma and grandpa. Those are good for kids. They don't have access to the internet. They can only call a certain number of people, and they can have it on phone in case of emergency. They can dial 911. But other than that, not until they're in late middle school. Our kids got their phones in 7th grade if they had good grades, 8th grade if they didn't. Only one of them didn't have good grades. Um, and he acknowledges that was his fault, so he knows. Next Reddit read is Server Life. I effing hate DoorDashers. Today, in the middle of lunch rush, some girl came in for a DoorDash order that wasn't even due for another 10 minutes. My bus girl told her, give it like 5 minutes. And this girl came back exactly 5 minutes later and said, I'll just be a couple minutes more. It's almost ready. To which she replied, well, she just told me 5 minutes and 5 minutes ago. So what's the real answer? Again, I said politely, just a few more. This bitch says, that doesn't answer my question. I asked how many minutes because you guys are wasting my time. I looked at her and told her she can go help the chef if she wants. The order was not ready was not ready even a minute later. This isn't the first time. One time I told the guy I'm not the one who filled out his job application and do not take it out on me. Yeah, DoorDasher should not show up 10 minutes later. And if it's rush hour, lunch rush, dinner rush, it's going to take a few minutes more probably than what they asked. Um, don't show up later and be don't show up early and be mad about it. That's weird. I would tell her to come back in 15 minutes. And yeah, it is wasting your time. You're wasting your own time because you showed up early. That's on you. Button Happy says I call DoorDash when they're very rude. They tell me they won't assign them to our store anymore, and sure enough, I never see them again. Bishop Bruce says I didn't know this was a thing. I think they like that. Happy Button again says yes. I say hey, I work at ABC, and I just had the DoorDasher yelling at me. They asked for the address, and they asked they asked for the address and for the order number name. It says on a receipt, and it shows who picked it up. And then they say they're sorry, and they won't be able to accept orders from here anymore. If I were rude as hell to our guests, people would complain on me. So when people are rude to you, better believe I'm complaining about them to their job too. I also block people's numbers on our store phone when they're a-holes. So now you can't order from here. What now? I hope that he I hope that Happy Button is the store manager or owner because somebody might get mad about that eventually. Oh, and they continue. I realize this make me sound like a dick, but I promise I only do it when people are extreme a-holes. I had a lady tell me to move or she was going to hit me with her car. I had a guy yelling in my face. I told him 5 minutes, and it had been 5 minutes, and maybe next time I should tell him the truth so he can decide if he's going to stay or not. I told him 5 to 10 minutes. I had a lady call and say she's been outside 15 minutes and no one has come out, yelling that they were useless and blind. She was at the wrong location. Oh yeah, it's always fun when they call you up yelling at you and it's not even the right place. It's also fun when you answer the phone dumb and they catch on right away. My boss's kids used to call, especially her youngest. And one day I saw that it was him on the phone, and before she could grab the phone, I picked it up and I said, "Sir, this is a Wendy's," and he ordered he ordered a hamburger because we were fun like that. And then we laughed. Um, our next Reddit is what do I do? From our next read is from what do I do? My friend gave away a week-old puppy. A week old? And the puppy needs its mommy. Like the title said, my friend's dog just had puppies last weekend, and this weekend marks them 1 week old. Well, today she had someone come over and look at the puppies that she'll be renting a room from, and after he convinced her he and his girlfriend knew how to properly take care of the puppy and bottle feed it, she let him take one. That poor puppy. It's my understanding that pups are supposed to be with mom a minimum of 8 weeks. WTF I do here. To add more info, I am DSP. I don't know what that means. And I am at work right now and will be at work all weekend, so I wasn't able to stop her from letting him walk away with a puppy. Update. So I finally managed to get the information on who she talked to and gave the puppy to. I basically threw a bluff out there and told him that the mommy doggy was forfeited to me until she was able to get on solid ground and have a place that allows dogs. This means the puppies are mine and that they were not hers to give away. I told him he was invited to my home without permission, and thanks to that, I have his face, the car he drives, his license plate, and all on camera. I told him if the dog isn't returned, I'm going to call the cops with all the information I have, when really I have nothing, and coming for him with the full extent of the law. He believed my bluff and is now willing to give up the puppy. But here's a few problems now. I'm a DSP and work a weekend block shift. I tried to get approval to leave work and go get it, but unless I find coverage, I'm stuck at work. Two, he's in a whole other city, 2 hours and some change away. And if I'm not there by 6 to pick up the puppy, he's keeping it. This situation has been a freaking S show. Update on the original does not give a date when it was. So another update on 9/22/25. With my mother's help, she's in California watching a family's member's dog for a few weeks. She talked to the guy. It sounds like he's going to bring the puppy back to my neighborhood, and my neighbor will bring it back to me. I tore into the guy, threatening with law and theft charges, and after some back and forth, he blocked me, as did quite a few other people. But as long as he follows through with the puppy, we'll be back with the mother within a few hours. Update 9/22/25. The puppy has been returned and reunited with the mama. Thank goodness. The mother doesn't even seem to notice it was gone in the first place and is back to feeding and doing newborn puppy things. Update 9/27, so it's 5 days later, 25. The puppy's eyes are beginning to open this weekend. They're doing so well. Mama is doing good too. And the one that was taken and returned isn't being rejected and is feeding properly and getting love from mama. All is well. Yeah, honestly, animals don't usually the thing that where if humans touch an animal, the animal will reject the baby isn't true. They want their babies. It's survival instinct. Yeah, that's really I'm glad he got the puppy back, but who takes a week-old puppy? Their eyes aren't even open. They don't know anything. They just want their mommy and some good milk. Yeah, they wouldn't even have good milk for him. Could have died. It could have died. It's unlike puppy mommy, you can't be there 24/7. Puppies are born even less developed than human babies. And think about how much human babies need attention. Our next Reddit read is from Am I Overreacting? AIO, my ex-wife and her new husband legally made their last name my full effing name. They really don't like you, dude. You cannot make this crap up. I was married once. My ex-wife blew it all but to hell by cheating on me and with one of my closest effing friends. That's sad. That betrayal crushed me, but whatever. I rebuilt. She kept my last name after the divorce. Weird, but I let it go. Fast forward, she married the guy she cheated with. Fine, closure. Good for them. Here's where it goes off the rails. Her new husband's name is the same as my first name. Oh, so when they hyphenated it, their big shiny new married name is now my entire effing legal name. Imagine your name is David Carter and she cheats with a guy named John David. They marry, hyphenate, and proudly call themselves Mrs. and Mrs. David Carter, which is literally your name. Oh, that sucks. They're on Facebook smiling and posting, here's to the new official Mr. and Mrs. David Carter. Meanwhile, I'm staring at my phone thinking, holy F, my ex-wife and her partner just legally rebranded themselves as me. And no, my name isn't common. People are going to see it and assume it's me. So tell me, am I losing my mind here, or is this just a complete effed up as it feels? Edit, I'm not on their social media. A mutual acquaintance sent me a screenshot with an adjoining text. What the F is wrong with them? Edit 2, if anybody would like proofs, please wager $20 or more and I will gladly supply you with proof on my Venmo. Oh, that's wild. Why would you do that? That's weird, man. Oh, that's weird. 37 says, now I need to know how much you made off the answer because I'm so curious. Spec and Z, oh, the OP says, so far $60 with another guy saying, I didn't think you'd deliver who owes me. Good for him, making money off of it. Awesome. Any way you can make money, so long as it's not illegal. Next we have, oh no, consequences. We stalked our sister's husband, took photos of him, and clients secretly and sorry. We stalked our sister's husband, took photos of him and a client secretly, and accused him of cheating. Why are they sending us home? It's flared dumbass. um, so it's originally from Am I the A-hole? AITA for making my younger sisters fly home early after they followed my husband. I have two younger sisters who are 15 and 17. They came to visit my husband and I on what was supposed to be a 5-week trip. Well, that sounds fun. Unfortunately, it had to end early after they were caught following my husband while he was having dinner with a client. I told them they had to leave immediately because I could tell my husband was close to exploding, and even though they kept them to hear me out, begging me to hear them out and let them stay, I wouldn't. I called our dad to let him know they would be coming home early and why it didn't go over well. My stepmother wanted me to let them stay till morning so they could fly back in the daytime, but I told her it wasn't possible and they had to leave immediately. I'm supposed to be visiting soon, but my sisters have told our dad that they don't want to see me, and my stepmother said I wasn't welcome in her house after what I did to them. That's not on her. The reason my husband is so angry is because the client he was with noticed them taking pictures of them, and when he confronted them, they were rude to her and to him. AITA. Fun storm. Pretty shocking that the final verdict was a-hole. Yeah. Dark says, yeah, I didn't see that way either. I think the teenager has vastly overstepped some boundaries with potential income impact. Original poster was not an a-hole, but the two sisters are. I don't think the sisters are necessarily a-hole. I think they probably thought um they probably thought they were doing the right thing. They probably thought there was more going on than what was going on. And they probably should have asked the husband about it before they stalked him. Don't stalk your brother-in-law. He might not be doing anything wrong. And maybe he was. Maybe and if it turned out that he was, would they have been the assholes then? No, probably not. So I don't think they should have been sent home. I think they should have been talked to, and the husband should have cleared out and gone and calmed down. Sending them home, I don't care that they were on a red eye. Just just as safe as anything else they were on. I don't think, and I also don't think OP should not be welcome back home either. So sounds like the parents are the a-holes. I think this was a comedy of errors that they should all look back on and laugh someday. But I understand the stress in the moment. This is from AITAH. I told my friend why I don't want to date him, and our friends are saying I broke him. Start over. I can never get the titles right. Why is that? I told my friend why I don't want to date him, and our friends are saying I broke him. AITAH. So my 21-year-old friend of 10 years, Mark, not real name, 23 male, called me yesterday to meet him for lunch and that he had something important to discuss with me. I had free time, so I agreed. I met him there and joined him. We had lunch and we talked about random things. Then he cleared his throat and started speaking. First, he told me that he didn't understand why I was dating my now boyfriend when he's a better match for me. Never start a conversation with, I'm better than who you're dating. Big mistake. Huge. I asked him to explain, and he basically went on about how he liked me first and how he met me first. He's more good looking, he knows me better, he's taller than my boyfriend and more successful, which is not true in a way. My boyfriend works aside from growing up in wealth, while Mark's entire life is funded by his parents, lol. He told me he doesn't understand how I can be with him when he's always around waiting for me. I was out of words and I asked him if he wanted me to be honest, and he said yes. I told him that I would never want to date him, given how I've seen the way he treats his past girlfriends. He ghosts them when he feels like it and just expects them to be there waiting. I told him he's too mature and irresponsible for me and that dating him would be exhausting. I also explained that the reasons I mentioned was why over time I started putting a distance in our friendship because I didn't like the way he treated the women in his life. Sounds like legitimate reasons for not wanting to date this guy. This guy sounds like a red flag guy. And she's picking up on it. Good for her. When I was done, he was just quiet. He just excused himself and left. I went home and went about my day. Later in the evening, our other friends started asking what I did to Mark and why he's been a wreck since he met me for lunch. He's drinking and not telling anyone what happened. I explained what happened, and they were saying I was harsh, that I broke him, blah, blah, blah. But I think I had to tell him the truth. So, Reddit fam, am I the a-hole? No. No. Edit. I know everyone says this, but whoa. I didn't think this post would blow up so much. I'm just trying to get through the comments and answer some questions that are there. Was sort of occupied the whole day, so I just opened Reddit. Thank you for all the comments, honestly. Edit 2. I'm so overwhelmed by the comments in a good way. Most are really funny. I've been laughing so much I woke up my sister's baby. Sometimes it's hard to wake up a baby. I sent my post to my friend not associated with Mark, and our group chat is blowing up with more laughter. But in all seriousness, thank you for the great comments and people leaving advice on my safety. I'll definitely be more aware of my surroundings going forward. I don't know that Mark is a violent person, but then again, this incident has proved that I might not know him like I think I do. Mark is currently blocked from everything. Our mutual friends who are supporting him and calling me out are also blocked. This is also learning lesson for me to distance myself a lot more quicker the next time I see red flags in future friendships. Thank you again for Reddit fam. If anything happens, I'll update you all. I'll still be reading the comments and answering when I can. Edit 3. I have an update, but I'm not sure if I should put it below here since this post has gotten quite long. So I'll just make a new post for those who are interested in this post. So let's do the comments first and then we'll go to the update. Catherine today says, NTA, even if you had kind of liked him, I feel like declaring his feelings for you by being rude about your current partner is such a turnoff. Exactly. He doesn't say anything meaningful or romantic about you, just that he thinks he's better than your actual boyfriend. She should date him instead. So entitled. Sudden Childhood said, right? It's like it's a competition with another guy and he forgot the end goal. Maybe compliment the woman you're after instead of complimenting yourself vis-a-vis her boyfriend. So tone deaf, zero self-awareness. This dude sounds like such a douche. And Super Duper Goose answers, this is the I met you first comment for me. So does that mean my mom's OBGYN has dibs on me. Get out of here with that BS. Yeah. And somebody answered, it was the taller that got me. Yeah, I don't know about that. That's not cool. Tom Pamphitium says, you didn't break him. His ego is just bruised. Rejection is a part of life, and it's on him to learn from that. NTA. P.S. He did ask you to be honest, and you gave him exactly that. Correct. Next, BMW says, NTA, he literally talked about you and treated you like a piece of property. That alone would be enough to say not interested. The fact that this is how he treats all his prior girlfriends shows you who he is. Anyone who claims to be telling him the truth broke him and you're too harsh is not something you want in your life, someone you want in your life either. I would stop being friends with all of them. Are the company you keep. And she did block all the friends too. So no, not the a-hole at all. This guy sounds like a jerk, man. Maybe he learned his lesson and he'll be a better person from now on. This is from Mildly Infuriating, entitled, I thought I was slick, careful, discreet. I thought he didn't know. This morning, my 6-year-old was pretending to vape in the bathroom with his toothbrush with the steam from his shower. Looked at him just like you. F that, I'm done. And does have the photo of the vape. Uh, I wish I had a pointer that pointed. See, I guess you can't see that. Maybe you can't. The vape and cigarettes. Good for you, OP. Um, I know someone who had a situation where they had to take custody of their someone else's kids, and she was a smoker. Had smoked all of her life, and the kid, she was smoking, and the kid said both their parents had passed away at different times, um, under very unfortunate circumstances, and the kids were they were in I think she was in the car. I'm not sure, and she was smoking, and one of the kids, they were like, I don't know, middle middle elementary school age, 7, 8, 9, said, but um, telling her cancer, smoking causes cancer, and she says, yeah, it can. And they said, well, who's going to take take care of us if something happens to you if you get cancer? And she said she threw out the entire pack of cigarettes and never smoked again. And good for her. It's captioned, God, I'm pretty upset with myself, not really realizing how much I was not only destroying my own health, but also just how much my son knows about my bad habits. I want to be healthier for myself, for him, for our family's future. Day one, let's effing go. With a strong man muscle emoji. That look right says, kids see way more than you think they do. And kids are smart. And the next one says, and here. And the next one says, and learn, thinking it's normal. Yes. Yeah, kids don't know what's normal until they get out of the house and find out that their parents are really effed up sometimes. I've had friends like realize that after they got out of the house. Like, that's not normal behavior. Oh, okay. Like, it's not normal to not drink while you eat dinner. It's not normal to have a drink while you eat dinner. That's not normal behavior. I know somebody who did that. Wouldn't let their kids have a glass of water during dinner or anything else. It's weird, weird stuff. Our next one is from Entitled Parents, entitled, Aunt demanded I give her tot. Oh, we already read that one. Why how's that in there twice? Never mind. Never mind. I don't know what I'm doing. Last one for the day is from Petty Revenge. My coworker kept stealing my pens, so I swapped them out. I hate it when my pens disappear. I used to leave a few pens on my desk, but they always seem to vanish. At first, I thought maybe I was just being careless, but then I noticed one of my coworkers always had the exact same pens I bought. Instead of calling him out, I decided to make things a little interesting. I bought a pack of disappearing ink pens and left them in the usual spot. Sure enough, he borrowed one right before a meeting and started taking notes. About halfway through, his notes began to fading on the page until the page looked blank. He stared at it in total confusion while everyone else kept writing. I had to keep a straight face, but inside I was dying of laughter. Needless to say, he never touched my pens again after that little incident. My desk supplies have been safe ever since. Really stinks when you share a desk with somebody and your pens disappear. I hated that. It wasn't on purpose, and no one was stealing them. They just were using them. They didn't really belong to me. They were company pens. But man, it was annoying. It was really annoying when you go to get your pen and your favorite pen and it's not there anymore. Fluffy Mastodon, that's cute. Says your pens were vanishing, his notes vanished. Seems like fair trade. It does. It does seem like fair trade. Um, Lem says, coworker, my notes are vanishing. You, that's nothing. Whole pens vanished from my desk. Edit now with colons. Oh, they didn't have the colons in there. Um, Dreamer Fi says, I drank some disappearing ink. Now I'm at the hospital waiting to be seen. Dad joke. Dad joke. Kins Owen says, okay, that was pretty silly, but it made me laugh. Yeah, it's a cute dad joke. Someday I will tell you my best dad joke when I actually get an audience. Not much as my girls. Oh, yeah, that's good idea. I like that. Your pens disappear, their ink disappears. All right, well, that's it for the day. I hope you guys have a great day. I am going to start on next month's stuff because I got to get that done before the kids come over tomorrow night because we get the little ones overnight. Yay! Get them all night. I love having them over all night. I love their little sleepy faces in the morning. They're not cranky kids for the most part, so and they're good. They act really good. I got lots of compliments last weekend when they were helping us move. Really, they were just entertaining my sister-in-law most of the time. They're so cute though. They were over last night too. The little one actually came right up to me. Usually he like and he had just gotten up from a nap. Usually he's a little groggy getting up from a nap and he doesn't want anything to do with anyone else. But he came right to me, asked to be held by me. Later on came and snuggled. Not usually that snuggly. They're getting to the age where they're not snuggly anymore. I love little babies when they snuggle, but I also love I love all the ages really. I love it when they're like 3, 4, 5 years old, and you can have a little conversation with you, and they accept to explain everything to you. It's super cute, and I love it when they're a little older, and you can actually carry on really serious conversations with them. Kids are smart. Give them some, give them some credit. They're really smart. They're way smarter than you think they are. Just because they don't have know all of the words and can't regulate their emotions the way they're supposed to, doesn't mean they're not smart. They're way smart, as we learned from that vaping guy. Okay, well, I will see you on Monday at noon. Noon. But I will also send any reminders I have to. I'm gonna try on Sunday. I will have some time alone. I'm gonna try and try some new editing software so I can get some clips uh taken out of these and put up on other social media. So maybe we'll get some more peeps. Hopefully. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your family. Join us. We have fun. It's fun. But you guys have a good weekend and happy Halloween. Totally boo.